All right, so let's come onto our back with knees bent and have your ball within reach. If you've got one or two of these smaller balls, having that handy as well. A little bit closer. And we'll start by allowing our body to ground and anchor, both physically and just connecting to this present moment. So let's do a body scan. Noticing the placement of the feet. And then letting your attention travel up the shin bones, the alignment of the knees. And then notice the back of the hips. Since we are going to be focusing on hips mobility, lower back. Notice here if there's any difference between the left and the right side of the hip. Does one hip connect and ground any differently than the other hip? And it might be so subtle that maybe you don't notice it. But just taking this time, this opportunity to pause is a sneaky little way of bringing ourselves into this present moment also. And now notice the lower back, that natural arch. And just take a couple of rounds of rolling the hips forward so your spine arches and the lower back moves away from the floor a little bit more. And then roll the hips back so then the lower back comes in contact with the floor. And just do that a few times. And it can be interesting, especially if this is, sort of your first movement of the morning, to just watch your body wake up. Watch the mobility of how the hips, the pelvis, rolls over the top of the femur. So we're sort of greasing the wheels with this. And then find a place in the middle. So the other nice thing about going through that action is you can notice the sort of extremes. And then land in a place where you feel just the natural curve. And it's usually about an index finger's width of space. Now let your attention travel up to the back of the ribs. And again, sometimes we can get stuck in a rotation where maybe if we do a lot of things like sweeping or tennis or golf, we do it, we favor the right side. You might feel that the back of your right ribs is lifted a little bit off of the ground compared to the left. And so we just want to take a moment to just notice that. And with the breath, in particular the exhale, invite balance in the two sides of the rib cage. And now let your attention travel up to the upper back and the shoulders. Again, you might find that one side is slightly elevated, a little less able to relax. And sometimes all it takes is our awareness. And then it's kind of like a child or a pet being caught. And it goes back to behaving how it should. And now allow the arm bones to rest in the shoulder socket. And notice the natural arch of the neck. Maybe let your head gently roll from left to right. And notice if the head rolls more fluidly to one side than the other. Let your head rest in the middle. And now we'll take the abdominal thoracic breath. that we've done before. We visited this before. So you breathe into your belly and then up to the ribs and then exhale completely. And do that 2 more times at your own pace. Breathing in and out through the nose. Practicing not hurrying. Relax the face and just be mindful of maybe tension coming up into the collarbones and the shoulders. We don't want that. That might mean there's a little bit too much effort in the breath. So balancing effort and ease. And now the next abdominal thoracic breath, I'll guide you through. We're going to do a hold and a contract. So breathe into belly and ribs. Hold the breath in. Now try to contract those muscles while keeping the breath in. And then exhale. So you breathe in belly and ribs, and you feel the belly and ribs rise up. You keep the breath in, but you tighten that area that just expanded. And then exhale, release. We'll do that one more time. You breathe in belly and ribs. Tighten, so feel the core engage, feel the strength. And then exhale. Now, next breath in, bring the knees in towards you. Hands come on the knees and make some circles with the knees away from each other. So again, we're talking about this hip mobility. So we want to get the joints warmed up here with some hip circles, focusing on the movement of the leg in the hip joint. And again, notice if one leg moves more fluidly in the hip bone than the other. And let's reverse direction. You know, most of us have had many, many years of perhaps favoring one side of the body. So it'd be nice to use our yoga practice to just offer a little reset. And then knees come together, extend the legs up towards the ceiling, and let's circle the ankles. Because everything is connected. So before we come to our standing poses, we want to make sure that the ankles are warmed up. Reverse direction. And then let's add the wrists, because we will be doing some poses from table. So there'll be a little bit of weight on the wrists and the hands. So let's get them warmed up. Reverse direction when you're ready. And this is also a nice way to just get the blood flow back to the heart by lifting the legs above the heart. And then pause, bend the knees so that shins are at 90 degrees from the thighs. Hands are on the knees. And then think about pressing the legs away from you. So you keep the knees bent. So this is just offering a little bit of a stretch in the lower back. And then soften that. Press the legs away. Invite a stretch into the lower back. And then extend the left leg long as you hug the right knee in. Now, toes are facing straight up. So you have the leg resting in that hip bone. Knees facing straight up towards the ceiling. Now that abdominal thoracic breath. Hold the breath and tighten. Lift the left leg off the floor. Rotate the leg and externally rotate it. So you're rotating the leg out to the side. The foot will angle out towards the left. And then slide that leg out as much to the left as you can without feeling discomfort, and then lower the leg down. And then on your next inhale, lift the leg up, engage the core. Bring that leg back to the center. rotate it back to neutral, and then lower it down. So we'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift, rotate out, slide it out to the side, and lower it down. Lift, slide it in, rotate it to neutral, and lower it down. And let's switch sides. Extend the right leg. And now making sure this is okay on the lower back. If it's not all okay on the lower back, give me a little holler, and we can try to tease that out. All right, inhale. Lift the right leg up, rotate it. Notice if there's a difference in how much it moves. Slide it out to the right, lower it down. Lift it up, slide it in, back to neutral, lower it down. One more time. Inhale, lift, rotate out, slide it out to the side, lower it down. Lift it up, slide it in, neutral, lower it down. The right hand to meet the left. This time circle both knees together. Massage from the lower back. Shoulders are relaxed, neck is relaxed, jaw is relaxed. Let's take it the other direction. And then pause. Lower the knees down. And you'll grab one of your sort of tennis ball size balls. And we're going to slide this. If you were wearing a pair of jeans, you're going to take that ball right where that jean pocket would be. And your right leg, so I'm starting on the left side. My right leg is my brake. So if the ball feels like it's too much, it's too intense, I can shift more weight onto my right leg and take some of that weight off. Now, to desensitize this glute a little bit, you're going to contract your glutes. So squeeze the glutes and then soften and relax. We'll do that 2 more times. Sometimes that contract and relax can allow the ball to get a little bit deeper into the muscles. So as you breathe in, contract.
Where's the ball?
The ball is under my left. If I'm wearing a pair of jeans, it would be on the back pocket, the back left pocket. I'll sit up and show you. So it's right on the glute. So right here, right on the meat on your glute, on your butt cheek.
Okay.
And if you don't have a lot of layers here, if you don't have much between the ball and the bone, feel for that, because you want to find some flesh. And this is where a softer ball could be helpful, or more weight on this right foot. And now you're just going to rock your hips to the right and then to the left. And that ball is going to be traveling across those muscles. And this can not only roll out tension, but it's also just increasing our awareness of these muscles so that when we ask them to do something, they may respond a little better. And then just pause in the center. You're going to remove the ball and just notice if there's any difference in the two hips. And we'll take this on the other side. So now it goes in the right jean pocket. Again, you might notice a difference in the two sides. And we'll just do the contract, squeezing the glute, and then stop. So inhale, contract, and then exhale, stop. And then you do the swipe. You're just rolling the hips left and right. You're letting the ball sort of traverse across those muscles. inviting the muscles to soften. And again, don't forget your break. The left foot, you just shift more weight onto that. You could also do this against the wall if this is, just too much. And then you'll remove the ball. Let the hips lower down. All right, arms are to your sides. Palms are facing down. On your inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips up. So feel the glutes turn on. And then exhale, lower down. So inhale, you contract the glutes, you lift up. On your exhale, feel the glutes stretch. And just two more. Press into the feet, lift up, squeeze the glutes. On your exhale, feel the glutes lengthen. And one last time. Press in and lift up. Exhale, lower down. Okay, take your right foot and cross it over the left thigh. So this is external rotation. And take a few breaths here, just allowing that leg bone to relax into this external rotation. If you like, you can lift the left foot off the ground. That's going to increase the stretch quite a bit. And you can do some gentle rocking side to side here. You could even, if your body, sort of responds to this, you could rock. So I have my right knee, I have my right ankle on my left foot, and I'm going to rock to the left, and maybe my foot touches the ground and gives me a nice stretch on the outside of the hip. And I rock back, and my right knee touches the ground. Maybe that works for you. Maybe your leg doesn't, or your hip doesn't want to go all the way across. So you could just rock, side to side. And then we'll switch sides. So starting off with the right foot on the ground, the left ankle's across. And just let the leg, sort of slowly ease into this external rotation. And then the right foot comes off the ground. Notice the sensations, breathe into the sensations, soften wherever it needs to be softened. And then if you like, there's this gentle rock side to side. Now you could put your hands on the shin if you like. If you have your arms to the side, there's going to be a little bit more core that is involved. You can let the foot come across the body. Again, when we do these, sort of twisting actions, a lot of times it really highlights the different mobility in the two sides of the body. And if this bothers your knees, you're going to have these rocks really, really minimal. And then you pause, lower both feet to the ground. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Let the knees drop towards the left. Again, just to the degree that it feels comfortable. Now, we dropped our knees to the left. Our right leg, we've got the internal rotation here. And then knees flow through the center. You drop the knees towards the right. So now the left hip, that's the internal rotation. We're going to be focusing on that a little bit more than we usually do. And just flow through both sides one more time. Nice and slow. Pause, maybe take 3 breaths. And after you've done a hold on each side, we come back to the center. And let's transition up to seated. And then into table. So fingers spread wide. Onto the ground. See if you can get more of your weight on the index finger and thumb side of the hand rather than the pinky side. This has got more strength on this side. And just a couple of rounds of cat and cow here. Right, come to a neutral spine and extend the left leg back. Here's our calf warm up. Press and release. Now, sometimes when we start doing something with our legs, we forget about our alignment in the shoulders and we might collapse in. You want to keep pressing into the hands, sliding the shoulder blades away from the ears. Now engage the core, float the left leg off the mat. Now imagine you have the ball in between your thighs. So when you think about spinning the thighs inward, we're engaging the core. So invite that action. Maybe you extend the right arm long. Welcome the wiggles. Release the right hand down and take that left leg over to the right as you look over the right shoulder. Now, breathing in through the nose, invite to the breath to puff out the left ribs. And just enjoy a few breaths here. Getting a nice side body stretch. And then come back to your table. Extend the right leg. And begin that half stretch. In addition to stretching and creating space along the calf muscle, you might feel that there's some space being invited into that hip socket too. And undoing sitting and standing. All right, float that right leg off the floor. And again, think about spinning the thighs inward, like there's a ball between your thighs. Left arm extends. And just notice the shifts. Shifts in balance, shift in which muscles engage. Lower the left hand down. Take the right leg over to the left and look over the left shoulder. Come back to center. And you're going to grab your inflatable ball, and that's going to go right between your thighs, right by the knees. And I'm going to show this from a back angle. I think this might, or let me see if I can do it in the front. Yeah, I think maybe front works. You're going to, maybe it works in the back, sorry. You're going to squeeze the ball so your hip points come in and then flare your legs out. So this internal rotation should engage the core. And then feet come back together. But you're going to be down like this. I'm just sitting up because I think it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. All right, and we're going to add on. So legs internally rotate, feet go out, and you're going to press back. And then inhale to the center, feet come together. Feet out, press back. Feet in, you're forward. Feet out, press back. Feet in, add on. You're gonna lift up, lower down, feet out, press back. Come up, lift up, feet out, press back. Going to take a little while to get this rhythm. So we got a little bit of core work, a little upper body work. And again, we're working on the mobility of the hips. And just do 2 more of these. Pause in your table. And now up to you. Press back to child's pose or maybe take a downward dog. Keep squeezing the ball so that those hip points draw towards each other. And then any little micro movements that feel good in the body, maybe pedaling out the knees while maintaining the hold on the ball. And when you're ready, we'll meet up at the back of the mat in a supported forward fold. So knees are bent, forearms on the thighs. Take a look at the alignment of the feet. Then hands come to the hips. You squeeze the ball so the hip points are coming towards each other. And inhale, you rise up. Take a gentle back bend once you're up here. Inviting a stretch along the front of the hips. And then come to neutral. And remove the ball and you just let it go to the sides. Shift your weight to your left foot. And you may want to hold on to a wall or maybe just don't lift your foot as high. You lift the right leg up and you're just going to circle it around a little bit. So again, working on the, and if you're on a carpeting, if you have padding, that's going to make things a little trickier. And then just take that in the other direction. And then lower it down. Notice any difference? Shift the weight to the right foot, float the left leg up, and just make those circles, those hip circles. Take it in the other direction. And then lower it down. Nice. And now inhale, press into the left foot again. Right leg lifts up. Just swing it back behind you. Swing it forward and step it. Press into the right foot, lift the left leg up. Swing it behind you, in front of you, and step it forward. And if you didn't end up at the front of your mat, you can just walk there. All right, so we've got sort of our hips ready for some internal and external rotation. We're just going to warm up the feet a little bit, and then we'll apply all this to our warriors. So the ball, you'll just start on the heel, and then you're going to roll towards the toes, but the toes stay on the ground. So you're just in front of the heel. And then there's just a little shifting of your weight. So I'll face you. So I have the ball under my right foot, and I'm just going to shift weight to my right foot, shift it to the left. Shift it to the right, shift it to the left. Just a little bit of this kind of pumping that fascia that this fascial web kind of is the thickest here. Many strands of fascia connect here. And then release, step off the ball. Notice any difference in the 2 feet? And then we'll do the other side. And transfer the weight. Weight to the left foot. And then to the right. And I'm keeping my right foot on the ground. I'm just coming up on the ball of my right foot. So I'm not trying to balance, although it may challenge your balance a bit here. And then release. Slide the balls to the side. All right, let's get ready for our warrior sequencing. At the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Right leg steps back for warrior 1. And then straighten the front leg. And then bend it. Inhale, lift both arms up. Exhale, straighten the knee and lower the arms. And flow with your breath. And you may notice that as you move the right arm, you're going to feel more of a stretch in the front of that right hip. Yeah, one last time. Pause in your warrior 1. And on your exhale, hands come to the blocks. You float the back leg up. See if you can see, peek underneath your torso and see the back foot. Toes are facing straight down. And then rotate the leg out to the side and back to center. Back to the side, back to center. So again, we're just encouraging mobility in this back hip. You pause, lower the right leg to meet the left. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Left leg steps back. Then we come into our warrior 1. Front knee is bent. Then you begin to straighten and then bend. Add the arms when you're ready. And flow. And pause in your warrior. Take a few breaths here. Exhale, hands come to the floor, blocks. Back leg lifts. Peek underneath your torso, toes facing straight down. And then rotate the leg out. And back to the center. External rotation, center. And again, this is just inviting movement here, inviting the leg bone to move in this hip joint. You pause. Lower the left leg to meet the right. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold half. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Imagine you have that ball, the inflatable ball. You're spinning the thighs inward. Feel the core engage here. And then inhale, rise up. Take a gentle back bend. Again, inviting those hips to stretch. Let your gaze travel up the wall to where the corner in the wall meets. And if the neck allows, if the spine allows, let the gaze travel across the ceiling. And then inhale out of that, lower the arms down. Step the right leg back. Warrior 1. This time, as you exhale, take the torso to the inside of that left leg. And then inhale, you rise. So flow with your breath. You can imagine that inflatable ball in between the upper thighs so that you're squeezing and you're gauging that imaginary drawstring that connects the two hip points. And then pause here. You're hovering to the inside of that left thigh. Shoulders slide away from the ears. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then inhale, you rise. Pause here. Once again, gaze is at the intersection of the wall and the ceiling. Keep that left knee bent. Let your gaze travel along the ceiling. You might find you need to press into that left foot a little bit more as you come deeper into your arch. And then release. Hands to the block. Step the back foot up to meet the front. Inhale, rise. Gentle back bend. Exhale, step the left leg back. Warrior one. On your exhale, dive to the inside of that right leg. And then inhale. Flow with your breath, maybe closing your eyes. Will challenge your balance a little bit. And they allow you to be a little more connected with the sensations in your body. Next time your torso is hovering to the right of that right leg, to the left of that right leg, pause here. Notice where the weight is in the feet. You might need to intentionally put more weight in that back leg. And then inhale, you rise. Take a gentle back bend. Pause. That right knee is bent. Gaze travels up the wall. And then maybe you travel along the ceiling. And it can be interesting to notice if there's a difference in the two sides. The restriction can be from the hips. Exhale out of that, hands to the blocks. Back leg lifts and you bring it up to me. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, release to neutral. Just want to check in, see how everybody's doing. All right, some thumbs up. Yep. All right. So let's move on to some warrior two sequencing now. So start by taking the right leg and you're going to step it back a little bit wider, just noticing the difference in the legs between warrior one and warrior two. So front leg, we have the external rotation. Back leg, we have the internal rotation. Straighten that left knee. As you bend it, just watch where the knee goes. Maybe you can scooch the foot a little bit further if you find the knee going beyond the toes. And then inhale, extend the arms out to the sides. And then we'll flow with the breath. Straighten, reach the arms up, and exhale, bend. And just repeat this with your breath. It's a nice way to warm up the muscles in the joints before we do a hold. So hold this pose. See if you can relax the shoulders. Notice where the weight is on the feet. Notice if you're reaching forward. That's a strong tendency. See if you can have your torso aligned right over the hips. Maybe close your eyes. Rotate the palms up. See if you can relax the shoulders a little. Keep the shoulders relaxed as you spin the palms down. Just 2 more breaths. Lower the back hand to the back leg. Front hand reaches up to the ceiling, and then you reach up and back. Again, you may need a little more weight on that front foot to keep your balance, since you're transferring weight out of there. Inhale through Warrior Two and let that left forearm come to the left thigh. Right arm can reach forward and maybe you take it along the ear. Pressing into that left forearm so that you root to rise. You're not collapsing. And then inhale, rise up, reverse. Inhale, windmill the hands to the blocks. Step the back leg up. Pause here for a moment. Just notice any difference in the 2 sides of the body. When you're ready, inhale, rise up. Enjoy a gentle back bend. And then step the left leg back. Straighten the right knee. And then bend the right knee, watching the traction, feeling that stretch on the inner thigh. So we've got this external rotation in the right leg. But think about the back side here, the glute. So this is stretching. Think about the back of the right hip hugging in. And I think we did this last week. Roll onto the pinky side of that front foot and just notice you might feel the glute fire up. See if you can keep that as you plant the big toe back down. And then arms come out to the sides. And then flow. Straighten and reach and bend and lower. In rhythm with your breath. When you're ready, pause. See if you can find stillness in the pose. Maybe focusing on the breath, allowing your gaze to be directed over the right fingertips. If your mind wanders from the breath, just bring it back, noticing the sensations as it enters and exits the nose. Put the right palm up and then the back hand to the back leg and you reach up and back. And then inhale through Warrior Two. Take that right forearm on the right thigh, left arm overhead. Feel that line of energy from the outside of that left foot all the way to the left fingertips. Can you spin your shoulder up towards the ceiling? And then inhale back up and reverse. And then windmill the hands to the blocks. Step the back foot up to meet the front. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, pull forward. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Right leg steps back. Short Warrior Two. Coming into triangle. So stance is a little bit shorter. Knees bent, but not as deeply. You can keep your torso nice and long, shoulders roll back. Let that left hand slide. Maybe it comes above the knee, maybe it comes below the knee. But if you start sort of spinning over, you want to back up. So you want to try to keep your spine nice and long. And now begin to slowly straighten that front leg. Begin to spin the right hip, the ribs, the shoulder back. Find a comfortable gaze for your neck. Sometimes people complain about their neck hurting in triangle. You can try looking towards the floor. Maybe then, depending on what's going on with your neck, maybe that offers more ease, maybe the horizon. And then you could extend that right arm up if you like. And then soften that front knee and rise up. And then reverse. And try straightening that front leg as you reverse. Just a slightly different sensation. And then reverse forward. Windmill the hands to the block. Step the back leg up. Left leg steps back for your triangle. Same thing. Your right hand, you just let it slide to where you can still maintain a torso that's not dipping forward. Again, it may be different on this side than the other. And then begin to straighten the leg. Roll the left hip back, the ribs back. Imagine you could just lean against a wall behind you. And then inhale, you rise, soften the knee a little bit. And then reverse. And you can straighten that front leg. And then windmill the hands to the blocks. And step the back foot up to meet the front. You're in a forward fold. Let your hands come to your thighs. And then let the hands slide down the legs as the torso draws towards the thighs. You can soften the knees. You allow the shoulders to relax towards the ears. Allow gravity to create space in the neck. Maybe make some circles with the head. Imagine your head is a spoon and you're stirring some thick, ooey gooey deliciousness. Reverse direction. And then you pause. Let's take it back to table. Slide blocks to the sides. Walk the hands forward for puppy pose. And stretch the hips back. Maybe make some sort of gentle sort of rocking or just intuitive movements to encourage the body to open. Let go. When you're ready, slither into your Sphinx pose. Now, if this is uncomfortable, the first thing you could do is you could take the inflatable ball underneath the chest. And if that doesn't work, you could drop down to crocodile pose. Okay. Jane, do either of those work for you? You probably do. And then press into the arms. And think about dragging your elbows back to your hips and your chest towards the wall in front of you. Your gaze is about 2.5 feet in front of you. And you're welcome to stay here. This is a very therapeutic pose. It can be particularly therapeutic for the lower back. Everyone's lower back is not the same, so if it doesn't feel good, then feel free to come into the crocodile pose. Or you could come into a forearm plank. Turn your toes under, and you could begin by first, lifting your belly off the floor. Maybe you lift the thighs off, and then maybe you lift the legs off. Imagine you've got that ball between your thighs. You're spinning your thighs inward. You're breathing in and out through the nose. Now, if you're doing some of these more physically challenging, the tendency can be to go towards the mouth. And that's an indication that maybe there's more effort than you need. And you're ready, release down. Come into crocodile if you're not there already, and bend to the knees and let the legs just flow side to side. Release the legs down. Come into your Sphinx pose, and the right knee comes into a half frog. Now, decide if you want to stay here like this. You could drop down, and you could take the ball under the chest. So just notice what feels right for this side of your body. It might be different than the other side. And we want to try to relax the right hip. Can we find ease here? If your neck bothers you, you could take a block underneath the forehead. It's a great opportunity to practice your breath, to practice staying in this present moment, staying connected to the sensations. Okay, just another breath, and we're going to prepare to transition. So removing any props. Moving back to your Sphinx. And then deciding if you felt better with the ball with your Sphinx, or crocodile, or forearm plank. And again, any variation of this forearm plank. Now, if you're doing the forearm plank, can you feel your core? Can you feel your glutes? Can you feel your calf? Are your shoulders creeping up by your ears? Can you slide them away? It can be interesting to just finesse, adjust. Notice the breath. And then make your way down. Knees bent. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. And maybe let the legs flow. And then setting up for frog on the other side. And it may be different. So you may want to just try out all the options on this side. You take your leg, the knee comes up towards the hip level. The shin and the ankle gravitate closer to the body, just like a frog's leg. And release out of that when you're ready. Just come into that crocodile pose. Enjoy a few breaths here. Before rolling onto your back. And any layers of clothing today? We've shifted back to chilliness, so it might be nice to have your socks on or even a blanket before relaxation. We'll do a couple of more sort of stretches, lengthenings, rollouts, but just having everything you need for relaxation. So you don't have to move around too much. And so first thing when you land on your back with your knees bent, take a moment and just scan your body. Maybe reflecting to how your body felt at the beginning of your practice. And just noticing any minor shifts. They may not be dramatic, but again, this exercise of pausing and observing and creating space to notice is a really powerful practice of being present. And then when you're ready, just extend the left leg long and draw the right knee in towards you. Give it a little hug. And just hug the knee right to left. Massaging the lower back. And just kind of easing into the twist. And a little deeper into the twist each time you rock. So the right knee rocks to the left, and then it rocks out to the right. Just sometimes it's helpful to just imagine just little kids just kind of exploring their range of motions, just the aspect of play. And when you're ready, you can let that right knee come across the body. Maybe you let it land on the block and find a comfortable place for that right arm. And then once again, practicing this presence process. When we breathe in and out through the nose, we linger. We just allow ourselves to notice. When you're ready, inhale back to the center. Hug that knee in. Now rebend the left leg. Place the foot on the floor. And then if you can reach the inside of that right foot, we're going to do a half happy baby. Otherwise, you could have your hand just behind the knee. You're going to draw the knee towards that right armpit. And maybe you do a little bit of a rocking here as well, a little bit of play. So just a one-legged happy baby. You can explore, maybe drawing that right leg towards the right. A little bit left of center. And then pause and cross that right ankle over the left thigh. Again, we started with this, noticing how this feels. When you're ready, you could lift the bottom leg up. Hands could be on the shin, or you could take them to your sides. You can hold stillness. If you're enjoying that practice of holding stillness and just watching subtle sensations, that might be a good choice. If you want to do the sort of rocking side to side that we did in the beginning, it's another option for a twist. Another option to just compare how our body is now compared to how we started. And you'll pause and reset. Both feet on the floor, knees are bent. Scan the body, noticing. When you're ready, draw the left leg in, extend the right leg. Allow yourself to feel. Again, only if this feels right, you add that little exploratory rocking action. If holding stillness feels particularly good for you today, then that's the play. And when you're ready, you can let that left leg come across the body into your spinal twist. Back to the center. You bend the right knee, place the foot on the floor. And come into your half happy baby on the left side. And decide if you want stationary, static hold. If you want to do what we call a rhythmic vinyasa, where you come in and out of the pose. I think the way to decide is to just try them both on and do the one that feels best. And let that left ankle cross over the right. Right foot can come off the mat. You can choose. Maybe the hands are on the shin. Maybe they're out to the side and you are exploring more spinal rotation. We'll meet up in our starting pose. And take a breath, check in. Are you ready for Shavasana? The answer is yes. Choose your props. If you feel like there's another posture that would allow you to experience Shavasana more deeply, then take a moment. We are running, it's 10:40. If you've got a time crunch, just want to make you aware of that. And using this time to continue the practice of embracing the present moment. Noticing the sensations, allowing the breath. Perhaps reducing the need to do anything. Allowing yourself to be. Allowing yourself to receive the benefits of your practice. Allow your next breath to be a little longer, a little deeper. And invite gentle movements. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. Just easing your body back slowly into movement. When you're ready, you can gently roll to your side. Taking a moment to offer gratitude to your body, all it does. When you're ready, slowly make your way up to seated. If you'd like to join me in a chant of Om, take a deep breath in. day. Thank you, guys.
Namaste.